name is Karol Weyman with Outdoor Coffee Shop. Welcome to another edition of From the Ground Up. We're excited to be here today with Flash Weather AI. And this is Jameson Allen, who is joining us today. Jameson, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. As you said, my name's Jameson. I am a business development representative with Flash Weather AI, and I've been with them for just about 2 years, running on the sales for the whole team. So it's been a great wild ride for us.
And that's wonderful. So how did this get started? How did Flash Weather AI get started?
Yeah, so our CEO, his name is Jason Deese. And as the story goes, he was a National Weather Service forensic research meteorologist for quite a few years, I think a little over 20 years. And while at the National Weather Service, he was also a dad with kids who played softball. And he was one of the guys who would pull his daughters off the field before the umpires just because of, he was able to understand the actual risks and dangers a lot quicker than someone who calls baseball softball strikes. And that kind of created a tension point that launched him into figuring out, how do I equip people like that with tools to be able to make safer decisions as it relates to the weather? And from there, he invented lightning prediction. Never existed before, and he got it patented in a very short amount of time. If I understand, it was in under 4 or 5 months, and investors were ready to jump in. So we have been building new products ever since and enhancing every kind of meteorological tool that has previously existed with this new kind of era of weather technology.
Okay, so what makes Flash Weather AI different from other standard weather forecasts that come into play?
Number one, the amount of data that we use and how quickly we can process that data. So as you can imagine, think about, let's say there's 30 radar units across the US. They're all turning in a circle, sending data out, bringing data in, and then sending that data to the people that use it as it comes back, right? Showing you precipitation potentials. That's a lot of data. And every 7 minutes, most of those make a full revolution, sending more data to you. And to be able to actually operationalize all of that data as frequently as it's made available to you is a huge feat. And no one's ever really done that before in a way that makes it available to an end user who's on a phone, out in a truck or on a roof or in a tractor, whatever it is. They need weather data that's actually up to date right now, not 3 hours old. Because if you're making a decision about safety or something where there's high stakes, there's a lot of money at play, you need to have updated information. So we've operationalized an enormous amount of data, and we process it with an AI machine that we built in-house. That's really the only way we can do what we do. You put those two things together and add one more piece, and this is really what makes us not just stand out, but like truly one of a kind, is that we've added almost 30 years of historical weather data into that mix. So now our AI machine looks at new weather data coming in right now, compares it with almost 30 years of historical weather data, and then pumps out your forecast, your probabilities, which that brings an incredible upgrade in accuracy and advanced notice.
Wow, it sounds like it. So everyone talks about lightning prediction, and what is actual lightning prediction? Like, how do you predict it, and how does it work?
So there's a lot of things at play, and at the very beginning, I guess I should step back. Before flash weather, the only thing that ever was available to you was lightning detection, which means when a lightning strike occurs, all of our networks and systems detect that and then notify you. And oftentimes for the good ones, you'll get that alert within seconds. It'll show up on your phone. It'll show you where and when that strike happened. We use that data. We do the same thing. We provide those detection alerts. But the problem is that detection is the first notification you find out. And that lightning already happened once you get that notification. So it's already dangerous. So lightning prediction then goes out ahead to say, and with our platform specifically, up to 60 minutes in advance, we're telling you down to the minute and down to your address level exactly what time the first threat of a lightning strike is possible. And we do it with up to 99.6% accuracy, right? So there's all kinds of weather data at play, from radars to satellite to, any public and private weather data inputs out there, from calibrated devices that are well taken care of and monitored and functioned correctly. So that's how we get ahead of lightning. We predict it. And again, because we have all that data. If you don't have all that data, you're still just guessing. You're still kind of just drawing a big circle on a map and saying it could be dangerous out there at some point.
Right. You're like waiting for the alarms to go off from like this, from the city or from something. And so this data is super powerful and it's so precise that, that's an incredible number, being, the percentage of to be able to predict that. Apart from the lightning prediction that you have, how else does Flash Weather AI empower outdoor workers?
Lots and lots of ways. So we actually, at our inception, were built for the golf industry, specifically like the golf course superintendents, people who are making countless weather-related decisions every day, both, for their crews as well as for the actual work that needs to get done. So it's safety related and it's efficiency related. So here's a great example. Irrigation. You have to water so much of your turf grass, that beautiful green on a golf course, which I never realized how much work goes into making that look the way it does and feel the way it does until jumping in with Flash. Now I have a newfound understanding and respect for and admiration for that work. They're basically scientists making the grass look perfect so you can play on it. And how much water you have to use today, tomorrow, next week, and the next month depends on the weather. But if you have those big, broad, generic data sets that are provided for you from any other company, it's not really precision. You're still on some level making gut decisions and relying on any data you yourself have collected and then make decisions with. So we can tell you your evapotranspiration rate up to 15 days in advance. We actually predict frost accumulation and when it will dissipate and when it's different in the shade versus in the full sun. And we can do that 24 to 48 hours in advance. And frost, when frost shows up, it can pretty much halt everything until it's gone, depending on what kind of work you're doing. And then probably one of the most used tools on our platform is our future radar. We've got 18 hours worth of future radar. So you can actually plan out, stage your crews, decide, hey, it's going to be rainy over there until noon, so let's actually do the other job site first today, and things of that nature. So that's a really good sampling of some of the ways we help the outdoor crews.
Yeah, it sounds like a game changer for outdoor contractors. Is there anything else that you want to support and talk about as far as why it's such a game changer by having precise weather predictions?
Yeah, I think the two biggest things, obviously, number one is safety for us, right? It all started on the softball field because of safety, and that's really the heart and soul of Flash Weather is we want to make the world a safer place. So lightning prediction, that means your crews will not be taking risks anymore. But on the efficiency side, that means they're only going to delay when they really have to. Because when you have this kind of data, it actually eliminates the confusion and the gray areas where you're like, well, it seems like it's dangerous. It's really dark clouds. It's really whatever. When in reality, Flash Weather might be telling you, yeah, you're still 300 miles from lightning. There's nothing close to you. It's not possible to occur. So you're actually going to operationalize more and more hours every day, every year, completing more projects faster, making more money, really, at the end of the day, while being safer. Those used to be kind of in tension with each other, right? Safety and efficiency. And with this kind of data, we're flipping that script.
Right. That is a game changer, and that is very, very important. And I can see why people would want to be able to use this system. You had talked about all the data and how much data it is and how precise it is. Where do you get all your data?
Lots and lots of places. So it's it's a combination of using public weather data inputs from the National Weather Service and NOAA, where, I mean, if there's a radar out there, it's feeding our system. Satellite data, that's feeding our system. And then we purchase data as well. So public data is free. That's accessible to anyone. We ingest as much of that as possible. And then with the proprietary and then the private data sources, that could be a high-tech weather station on top of an airport. That could be, there's just a lot of hundreds and hundreds of these inputs. And we use all of those. We put them all together on every weather parameter that we forecast and predict on, so that we can actually tell you, hey, we know your local weather guy said 40% chance of rain, but he's talking about your whole region, right? He doesn't know that you're watching this like job site, this or these 10 job sites, these very specific addresses. And that's where we come in to say, with all this data, we're actually able to tell you specifically how each of your job sites has a different forecast, a different timeline, and different factors for safety and efficiency.
I mean, that's such precision. And I was lucky enough to talk to one of your colleagues, Tom, at the GCSAA conference last week. And when he was talking about the precision of actual addresses, I mean, that makes such a difference, because one part of town could be something a little bit different, so that you can actually get the best use of time for the workers. If they're trying to get something done, they can just move over to a different site until it's safe and it's, available for them. So I think that was pretty cool to hear about that, and just your expansion on that has been great. One of the things that I am super curious about is, in addition to supplying this data, what else do you offer contractors to be able to make sure that they are able to alert people the right way?
Great question. So we have three main platforms. The first is what we call our Weather Command Center. And it's just something you pull up on a browser, whether it's your computer, your phone. And we call it the Weather Command Center because that's what it looks like. It's just all your buttons are in one place, all your maps, all your data points, it's all right there. And it is designed with the user in mind, which I have to say it's pretty special in the weather world. There's a lot of tools out there that you're just like, I am not a scientist. I'm not a meteorologist. What am I looking at? Right. And we've taken that upon ourselves to say, hey, we're not just going to provide the best data. We're actually going to make it useful, understandable, so that you're just making decisions instead of searching for and interpreting weather data. So that's number one. Number two, we actually have an app for your phone as well, both in the Google and the Apple Store, to make it even simpler. It's more streamlined, and you can set up alerts. So lightning specifically, you'll get those messages to say, hey, in 49 minutes at this address, you will have your first threat of lightning. And then when it does show up, you get another alert as soon as it's all clear. So you're not guessing anymore. You don't have to open it up and search. It's just going to buzz at you and tell you, hey, it's time to get to safety. And then, hey, it's time to get back to work. And then the third is, I know on the screen here, you can see behind me, I've got a siren station and a strobe light. So we also add in their portable or permanent fixtures with a siren and a light automatically tied into those lightning alerts with our platform. And that's a very popular one for golf, outdoor sporting, even large construction sites. So you can almost set it and forget it, right? Because that thing is going to be very loud when it's time to clear and get to safety. And then it goes off with a different sound when it's okay to get back to work.
Wow. And how do you maintain that? Like if someone has that, do you check on it? Do they have a service plan? What happens for that?
Yep. So we have a maintenance package, and you can even purchase like a higher level maintenance package, but typically once every 1 to 2 years, we just need to go through and make sure that all the connections are not corroded and everything's functioning properly. We can monitor them remotely, so we can tell, hey, your battery is actually dying. It's not going to keep up, or we need a new solar panel or something like that. So, and we just stay in very close contact with all of our customers, because this is a safety related issue. And that's absolutely essential for us, is taking care of every level of performance of those hardware devices and making sure they're staying connected with the software.
Well, that's great. And so you mentioned the golf course being, a bigger client for you because of, in municipalities, et cetera. There's a lot of golf courses around the country. Can you give some other examples of other types of clients? I know that there are outdoor contractors. You had mentioned that too, but really, there's a lot of things, a lot of places that you can be. So
many. Actually, we kind of stopped counting the options around 90. Okay. 90 different verticals make weather-related decisions on the regular. Wow. So a couple of key ones are the Big 12 Conference, for example. They signed up with us because they're managing championship competitions all over the U.S. for tons of different sports all the time. So, well, not all the time, but during their seasons. Yeah. And that is almost impossible to do outside of something like Flash, where you have that multi-site. You can see all 18 of their universities in one platform, in one screen, and see the lightning status for everything. But on top of that, you can have those alerts go straight to the people on site who need the information the quickest. So you're eliminating communication, you're eliminating confusion, and you're eliminating close calls with Mother Nature. The concrete industry. Man, that one is very weather sensitive as well. And so we built a tool just for those guys called the Concrete Pourability Index. And we're releasing it here pretty soon. And it's essentially a single number that can go out 3 to 5 days and tell you if it's a 75 out of 100, that's a great day to pour. If it's a 25, that's almost a no-go, right? And now instead of finding out when you get there, and you have to turn the truck around or you still have to dump the concrete, far enough ahead and in advance to potentially retain the client and not waste all the materials or have to just pour it somewhere that it's going to be less useful. So you could probably start imagining now, like, any school, any right. University, any job site, if you're outside, you're going to want this kind of information.
Well, and what I love is it sounds like it really, when someone has this service provided for them and has the equipment, it gives them such confidence that that's one thing they don't have to worry about because they're going to be as safe as they can. They don't have to worry about the kids, just like the whole reason that Flash Weather AI started is because, keeping people safe. And then, you're trying to deal with all the different, if I imagine, as you're coordinating these events and you're doing all this, the last thing you want to worry about is if you're putting anyone in danger. And to give them that confidence, I think it really says a lot for the equipment that you're offering and the service that you provide. So that's pretty cool. You had mentioned that you have something coming out for concrete. What else do you guys have in the pipeline coming up?
Oh, man. So many cool things. So the Concrete Pourability Index is very similar to another one we're about to release called the Golf Playability Index. And this is a whole smattering of all the weather parameters that impact the comfort of playing golf and how well a golfer is going to play golf based on the weather. And golf clubs can use that to get ahead on managing tournaments, managing events, and or jacking their prices for the better days, right? So if your tee time is on Friday and it's a 99 out of 100 playability index, well, everyone's going to want that time slot. And now ahead of time. So we're also training our AI right now on predicting tornadoes. So that's the next big one in the list of safety concerns that are absolutely critical for us. We want the world to know about tornadoes before they happen. So that will potentially be out yet this year, hopefully by or before or maybe just during tornado season. Hurricane prediction is on our timetable in the future as well. Actually, the one I skipped is hail. So we're actually going to start predicting hail in the next quarter as well. So you can say an hour in advance, down to the address, the size of the stones, what's going to impact your site. So if you've got a fleet of cars outside and you have a way to cover them, you'll actually find out in advance now before the hail comes.
Insurance companies must love you guys, because you're providing a little, They're
We'll
not
see.
They still have to pay. They still have to pay,
Yep.
but they don't have to, take advantage of the services of that for sure. So I think that's
right.
super, super interesting. Is there anything else in the pipeline? Because I just interrupted you and you had mentioned a few different things. So
the one other thing in the pipeline I would say, I mean, there's a very long list of wishes of things that we're going to put on there, but one of the other ones right now is a little more of a category, and that is building every single tool on our platform to be API friendly. So if you have a CRM or if you have an operation where you collect data that can ingest weather data, well, now you can integrate ours into yours. And if you've already got, so here's a great example. And this one I thought up because I've got a roofing background. If you have a roofing CRM, that means you have all your customers' addresses in there. Well, if we build an integration with Flash that says, hey, hail is going to impact these 107 addresses in the next hour with over 1 inch hail, you can have it set up to automatically send an email to those 107 addresses, warning them ahead of time. So now you're doing two things. Number one, you're kind of saving their butt because you're like, hey, put your car in the garage. You don't want that thing to get slammed. But secondly, here's our link to schedule your inspection so we can come and check your roof, your exteriors, make sure everything's still in good shape. Because that next morning, you're going to get 15 trucks coming and knocking on your door, wanting to do something to your roof. And we just want to make sure it gets done right. So,
and it's such an easy way for customers. Yeah, easy way to create a great customer relationship and customer service. It really elevates people's game to be able to have that. I think that's pretty cool. And I think with the weather, like we've had such a volatile winter season, you can see it across the entire, just as the whole country has really suffered quite a bit as far as so many horrible weather situations happening out there. So I think that that's not going away. And to be able to increase your platform the way you have, I think is pretty amazing. And it all started because someone really just cared about their kid. They really cared about making sure someone was safe. So I think that's notable for sure. So if someone wants to get in touch with you or someone wants to hear more about your products, how can they get a hold of you?
A couple of ways. The first one, the easiest, most obvious, we have a website. That's flashweather.ai. We're on socials. We've got a TikTok. We've got Facebook and Instagram, but we also do lots of live coverage of severe weather events on YouTube. Our lead meteorologist, his name is Dave Downey. He does an incredible job of making sure everyone knows what's going on at all times. And when he's using our platform, we're often a little bit ahead of a lot of the other platforms out there. So YouTube, and I think that's about everything. Plus the app is in the App Store. So there's a free version that you can download and just try it out, put it on your phone. You really have nothing to lose at that point.
Yes. So any person, it doesn't have to be a company. It can just be an individual person that can download it in the App Store. Right. That's pretty amazing. That's fantastic, actually.
It's revolutionary. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in closing, is there anything else you want people to know about Flash Weather AI?
Ooh, good question. I think we covered quite a bit of ground there. The only other thing I would say is we love thinking up new things, right? So we are never going to stop innovating. And one of our favorite things to do is when someone calls up and they're like, wait a minute. So if you can do all of that, could you do this? And then they throw the spaghetti at the wall. I've never heard our CEO say no. He's like, well, if the data exists, we probably have it and we can probably build the algorithm. It's just a matter of when it fits into the timeline. So
right. And it sounds like you have a lot ahead of you. It sounds like you're checking the list off and really accomplishing a lot. I mean, this is pretty amazing that all the different areas that you cover and the weather predictions that you're able to give to your clients, et cetera. So Jameson, I just want to thank you for joining us today. This has been really, really wonderful. And, stay tuned. We have more to come. So thanks for joining us today at From the Ground Up.